Welcome, everybody, to the very first Johnny G in the morning. I got my coffee here with me. I got my cigarettes. We are ready to rock and roll. We just got done dropping the bros that stream with me on Streamers in Depth. It was a very, very interesting little podcast that we had there. I do apologize that my mic volume was down. I tried to go in and edit it. I was going to do it over on Blender, and for some reason, I can't get the file to work. So I did turn my mic up now. I hope you guys can hear me a lot better. I hope you're not getting a lot of feedback. But the main thing I wanted to do was make sure that the mic volume was right. So I'm just kind of putting this video out right now, just so we can kind of test it out and see how everything sounds for you guys. And like I said, I really hope you guys enjoyed that. The bros that stream, great people. So I think the first thing I'm going to talk about today is, first of all, I hope everybody had a great New Year's. I did not make it to midnight myself. I made it to about 11:40. So hang my hat on that, I guess. I was almost there, man. I was almost there. I couldn't get it though. And one thing that I would like to discuss is how everyone's year 2020 went for them with the whole COVID thing going on. There was a lot of fucking riot shit that was happening, and that the main thing is I wanted to sit down, kind of go through what was going on in the year, and yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do for this podcast. So we can start it. Let's start January, huh? We'll start right away. It was kind of like everyone was starting to get sick, and then everyone was talking about this COVID, this big disease that was going to be coming out. China was shutting down, and over in the UK, there was a bunch of videos coming over about how Americans just don't understand what this disease does to you. I mean, thousands of people were dying. They shut down the entire UK. So it was very scary. So I will honestly say myself, I was a little terrified of it. I was like, oh my God, this is how it's going to go down. We all got to be super careful. We got to shut down as well. We got to stop this thing as soon as we can. And then you started seeing like New York, and you saw big places like that over like Texas, and people just dropping like flies. I think it was in New York or New Jersey. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up. But you saw that the hospital morgue couldn't hold any more bodies. They were throwing them in like trailers for semis, and that is what got me so paranoid, and a lot of people talking about how deadly this is. And I was like, oh my God, if I get it, I can die. And I was telling my grandma, I was telling my family, everyone, you make sure you stay in your house. I'm a little bit younger. My body might be able to fight it off. My grandma obviously never listened to my advice, because even when I told her, hey, do not leave your house. If you need anything, I will go get it. I live right close by to you. I work right next to a grocery store that happens to be the grocery store that she goes to. And who the fuck do I see the day after I tell her to stay home? See my grandma at the grocery store. Oh, what the hell are you doing here? Oh, I really needed some milk and some flour. I'm like, I told you to call me, and I got you, Grandma. But of course, she's like, well, I knew you were at work, and I didn't want to bother you in any way. Kind of what old people do. God forbid, I love the woman, but her head is so thick that it's you tell her something, and she knows what you're saying to her, but she's like, I'm gonna fucking do the opposite, and I'm gonna do whatever I want anyway. So I see her there, and here we are, everyone panicking. There's a bar that's actually really close to my work that we would go and we would get food from. I think where it really settled in with me was ordering food from this bar/restaurant and having to go to a window like it's a fucking drive up. People waiting in line, but if someone was standing in line, you had to sit in your vehicle, or at least be 6 feet apart, because that's what the news was telling you. It was the weirdest thing to be a part of, and I thought, this is where it's all going to go down. Places are shutting down. People ain't going to work. People are told to stay home. I mean, on my way just driving to work, there was no vehicles, and it honestly felt like it was going to be the end of the days that were coming of, oh man, shit, we are getting wiped out. It's going to happen in my lifetime. Now, we jump ahead, into a little further months. We're kind of getting the numbers that are coming out, and I was paying really close attention to how many people were being infected, how many people were dying. It just seemed like the number was increasing over and over and over again. And then it started coming out with videos of doctors saying, like, hey, this is just like the flu. These are the symptoms. It's not a whole lot to panic about, but we have to make sure, we keep our hospitals as empty as possible because we're getting overrun right now. We can't see people as quick as possible. And once again, it was around, the time people get sick. So obviously any symptom you had for the flu, whether it was, the chills, the cold sweats, the cough, it was the typical I'm getting sick, the people that had sinuses, sinus problems. It was getting to be around that time, and everyone that was sick that was just instantly labeled as you have COVID-19. That to me was very strange that people weren't getting the flu or their normal sick. It was all COVID instantly right away. That's what we're labeling. You have COVID. You have COVID. I was one of those people. We are jumping, ahead now to like November where they're working on the vaccine for it. All these nurses are coming out and saying, hey, I had a patient, die on me, and it was labeled as natural causes, or it could have been anything as to, I wouldn't say cancer. I don't know if they labeled it as cancer, but some kind of sickness that it just kills people sometimes. And then they would come in and notice that the paperwork got changed to COVID, and the nurses were like, well, wait a minute here. I did not write that they died of COVID. They died of, Exhibit A, Then a lot of stories started coming out with doctors coming out and saying, you have a 99.6% survival rate. Don't be afraid the way that, people or the media is trying to tell you to be afraid. Yes, wear a mask. Yes, be cautious. Sanitize your hands. Do this, do that. But a lot of people started taking it to the extreme, to where there was, you go to a store and if the store wasn't 100% with the mask, which by the way, any store can do it, mom and pop, big corporation, however they want you to be in there, I will be the person to, if you're going to tell me to wear a mask, then fine, I can wear a mask for the time that I'm in there. But the second I leave, I'll take it off, because I really wasn't that worried about it after all of this information that came out from the doctors and the nurses, and then understanding that when those videos would come out, whether it was from the doctor, the nurse, or someone that's been in the field forever, someone talking about how creating vaccines, which is another interesting thing of how fast this vaccine has come out, and it's not even fully tested, but they're still injecting people with it because of the fact of when they were talking about vaccines, they say it takes at least a year to even have some kind of beta form of this vaccine. And they came out with it in 8 months? And now there's some issues that are going on with it. Well, of course there's issues going on with it because it's not even fully tested. So that, to me, tells me I'm not going to get the vaccine unless it actually is 100% complete. All the people that have got it, they stop having side effects. And other doctors will actually, come out and say, yes, we do have the vaccine. Now the vaccine is fine. But yeah, it's going to have to probably take, I would say, a couple of months of actual good results of it before I would even consider getting the vaccine. Or unless, I guess if they did some kind of thing in stores where if you You can't come in the store unless you have this vaccination card. You can't go here unless you have this vaccination card, because I have a feeling that's what's going to come down to. It's going to boil down to, if you don't have this vaccination card, you can't go and do anything. That means, let's say your kid is at a sporting event, they're playing basketball or football, or, they're doing the pom and dance. Now you can't even come in the school, and you can't even see your kid perform, play sports, or do anything unless you have this vaccination card. That seems to me like control, but I'm assuming if you couldn't go to your kids' functions, you would want to 100% be the person I will get the vaccination so I can go see my kids actually play sports. Because kids nowadays had the toughest time, I would say, for school. I couldn't imagine what those kids had to go through of, you're in class one day, and then the next day, we're not going to have school. Now we have to do online classes. Well, now parents have to take time off of work, and now your mom or your dad or your teacher. I couldn't imagine having to do that, to having to do Zoom calls with my teachers, emails. I mean, that's something that it's fine for a college student, like if you're doing an online class, or or even like if you're a senior in high school and you're doing an online class early in college. But I mean, you're talking about kids that are in 4th and 5th grade, that I'm sure they're good with technology. I'm sure they are. But to have to sit up here and do a Zoom call with their teacher, and they're sitting at home, or their parents or their teacher now, and I couldn't imagine having a kid at that time, or even being a kid at that time, because that would be one of the most difficult things I would ever have to do, especially for those parents that even if they were fortunately enough to work from home, but then they also had to work from home with their kids screaming in the background, or making sure their kids are doing their homework. That, to me, would be one of the most difficult things. So kudos to all of you parents out there that actually did that, and or maybe are currently still doing that. But I couldn't imagine. I do know too, and I have a coworker where her son, I want to say he's got to be junior or senior or something like that. He apparently was just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with the bullshit at school anymore. Can I just do online classes and do it that way? Hey, if you can keep your grades up and you can stay focused and you can still get A's, why the hell not let your kid do it, right? I mean, it's probably better for them if they can focus and not really be, or if they feel like if they're around their friends in school and they just feel like they fuck off all the time and they want to take school a little bit more serious, more power to them. I wouldn't want to do that. I would much rather go to school, see my friends, actually see people physically, be around them, communicate with them physically. But that's just who I am. And I know there's a lot of people out there too that they would much rather be around people than sit at home all day. Because when I had to sit at home all day, when I apparently tested positive for COVID, which I still, to this day, I think I was just a stat. It took them 4 days to even come back with my test results. And I was usually sick around that time of year anyways. And it was the same symptoms, the cold sweats. I felt sore and achy. I was stuffed up. So my main test that I had was I drove to work that morning, smelt a couple of markers, could not smell. My temperature was fine, took my temperature, but I couldn't smell. So I had to get sent home. I had to go do my test. And when they had the nurse call me from the clinic, she was asking for my symptoms, and I told her what was going on. But in the back of my head, I was like, you know what? Every time I was sick like this anyway, I do not know if I could smell. I guess I never really tested it to see, for the simple fact that I was plugged up anyway. So I don't fucking know if I was going to be able to smell or not. So that's a big thing for me as to why I thought I was just a stat. And staying home for 14 days with nothing to do. I thought that would be fucking cool. Fine, you know what? You want to pay me to sit at home and do nothing? I'll fucking do that. After day 3, man. Day 3, I was going fucking crazy. I live with my dog and a cat. And I stream. And now I have the podcast going as well. I thought this was going to be fucking sweet. No, not cool at all. To have loved ones and family and friends call you and, hey, anything you need, I will make sure I can bring it to you. I'll just put it on your porch. Cool. But you can't even interact with them. Not because I don't want to, but because of the fact of I understand, hey, if I do have it, I don't want you to spread it. I don't want you to have to stay home. You know, I would look at them through my door window and just wave at them. They would set shit on my porch, and then they would leave. I'd go out there and get it. I felt like I was stuck in prison, man. That's the only way I could really describe how I felt. And I felt like, you know, I'm this diseased fucking person that nobody wants to be around. And to treat people like that, to make someone have to stay in their house and not do anything, you locked them up like a caged animal, is pretty much what you did. And it didn't feel right. So I started finding myself being a little angry about the entire thing of, you can't fucking do this to people. And that's why I could never understand people that did it since day 1. You know, you're talking, I did it for 14 days. These fuckers, they did it from day 1. So what, 7-8 months? And they still have yet to leave their house. They're still, you know, sanitizing everything that comes to their house. They're just ordering groceries, getting dropped off at their doorstep. I can't believe that someone would want to do that for so fucking long and be okay with it. I guess to each your own. It is what it is. But me personally, there's no way in hell I would be able to do that. So I'm really happy that year 2020 is over. But 100%, we're not through the woods yet, everybody. I have a feeling here in 2021 that we're probably going to go through another lockdown, unfortunately. It's just, I have a feeling that's where it's going now that they're saying that there's a new version of COVID that came from the UK, and I think they said Africa, if I am correct, that it didn't come from there, but there's cases of the new version of COVID. And we just got one in Colorado. So now I have a feeling we're going to be on another lockdown. And I'm not sure what they're going to say about this vaccine that they've been working on. Because now, is this vaccine going to work for the new upgraded or new version of COVID? I don't know. I would assume if it's still the same strain of COVID that it would help fight it off. But I don't know. Now I just feel like we're being fucked with. They're going to lock us down once again. And I'm just not okay with that. As of someone that had to be locked down, I'm not cool with it. If you guys were on lockdown and you have a different story or a different experience, I would love to see it down in the comments for sure. So make sure you let me know how you felt about it. Because I was never okay with it. I always thought it was a cool idea to just sit home, get paid to do it, but no. After actually living the hell, I definitely did not want to do it. So that is just going to be a quick little year review, guys. We are about 20 minutes right now. Don't worry, the morning shows are going to be a little bit longer. So I guess I can waste a little bit more time with telling you guys how these morning shows are going to go. I'm actually doing a test right now for my microphone, just because, you know, the last podcast I put out with Rose at Stream, my microphone sound low. So we're testing it out now. But how I want the JonnyG in the morning shows to go is I want to be able to do an hour of radio for you guys, or hour of talking podcast for you, about a topic that anybody would want to talk about. Whether you can put it in the comments, you can join the Discord. I have its own little channel in there for podcast ideas. I love watching documentaries. If there's a documentary that you want me to watch or pay attention to, or a certain thing you want me to really pay attention to, that is what I would love to do, because that was one of my resolutions for 2021, was to learn more. I'd slacked off on learning things, just kind of doing my own thing. But now I'm 30. I recently had my birthday, and I just feel like, I really want to run with this podcast. I really want to learn new things. What a better way than to incorporate all of that together. Let's learn new things. I'm definitely going to be diving into Scientology. For those who know me, they know I have this huge thing with Scientology. I'm intrigued by it. No, I don't want to join, nor am I trying to hurt anyone's feelings that are in Scientology. I would really love to talk to a Scientologist because I have questions. I love learning about it because there's things that don't make sense to me, and I would love to have some kind of conversation or some kind of discussion of what it actually is happening in Scientology. So that's just one of my big things that I would like to be a part of. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. having cigarettes as well. Because I like to smoke. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much what I want to do with JonnyG in the morning. Is I want to learn new things. I want to watch new documentaries. I want to sit down and be able to have discussions with people about certain things, whether it's about cults, whether it's about space or UFOs or aliens, or even back in the Egyptian days. I would love to be able to sit down and just have a good maybe 10, 15-minute discussion, if not longer. Let's do a half hour if we have to. Something along the lines of a debate, because I feel like we've lost that in this world now, where people can't debate and actually still be friends at the end. And I think that's silly. I think that's foolish. You should be able to have a friendly debate with somebody and still find some kind of common ground, still be able to talk normal and not be in a heated argument. So that's kind of what I want to bring to this podcast this year. I'm going to be working super hard on it. I got my notepad here that I've been jogging down notes. I'm learning about Chernobyl right now, so I want to talk about that. So yeah, guys, if there's anything that you can think of that you would love to talk about on the podcast, or just a topic, because I know some people aren't comfortable talking to me to be on a podcast. They are just more comfortable with just coming up with the idea. So just let me know. I want to learn, and it would really help me out if you guys would send me some ideas. Let's get it done. Thank you guys so much for listening to my little rant. This is only 25 minutes long or so. I'm hoping to go for an hour every time. We'll have our morning coffee, and we'll just kind of sit down, run through some things together. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm looking forward to doing it. I hope you guys have a good one, and I will catch you on the next podcast, which I'm hoping will be another Streamers in Depth, and I'm looking to have Sprout on there. Sprout is a very happy, bubbly streamer on Twitch, and I will be super excited to have her on there. I know I've been in talks with her, so hopefully we can get her on soon, and I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Thank you so much for coming and checking out JonnyG in the morning. Hope you guys have a great day.